long as I can remember, I've been making things. And for the last 40 years, I've made a living making things. We generally tend to work for the outdoor amusement business. We make things for zoos, amusement parks, and carnivals, and normally out of normal materials, wood, metal, plastic. But sometimes we have to kind of do something a little different. One time, I was trying to make a giant rock wall that only had to last 2 weeks, so I didn't want to make it out of cement. We built a simple wooden frame, and then we covered over it with aluminum foil. By the time that it was painted, it looked just like a rock wall. And it's not a new technique. Hollywood's been doing this for years. If you've seen Flash Gordon or Luke Skywalker running through a cave, chances are it was probably made out of foil. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom wanted me to make a diving bell, but to sculpt something like that from scratch was going to take a lot of time and cost more money than they had. So I needed to figure out something to start with that would spit it up. I found a plastic septic tank that we cut a door into it and put a few things on. It looked just like a diving bell when the sea lion went sliding outside of it. When we built this Japanese pagoda, I couldn't have put real ceramic tiles on it, even if cost wasn't an object, because they would have been way too heavy. So I thought, well, maybe I'll slice up plastic pipe, but that was going to take too long. And I was sitting there trying to figure out what to use, and I looked at my coffee cup, and it was, oh yeah, styrofoam cups. Cheap, easy to cut, extremely lightweight. We layered them on top of one another, put a little plaster on them, painted them, and we had a pagoda. Recently, I was contacted by a chain of Hawaiian water parks in Texas that wanted these 6-foot sharks for their Hawaiian barbecues. But I had to put leis around the neck, and it was like I had to make 50 feet of 6-inch diameter lei. You know, I was just not sure what to make it out of, and then I hit upon the chicken pot pie pan. We took those and kind of crinkled them so they looked like aluminum hibiscus, and then dipped them in mobile home roof coating so that the paint would stick. Marine World put in a walrus exhibit a number of years ago, and they wanted an interactive walrus whose whiskers people could come up and tug and pull on to get the feel of what these amazing creatures felt like. We used weed whacker cable, tied a little knot in it, drilled holes in the muzzle, and pulled it through from the inside. Kids have been pulling on those things for the last 10, 15 years, and the walrus is still intact. Sometimes it's the material itself that suggests what the project's going to be. A friend of mine was an artist in residence at a recycling center and was intrigued by all the styrofoam packaging. So he turned it into a life-size styrofoam Hummer. I used this in one of the flower shows that we called Pedal to the Metal, and we even put a whole backdrop of strange styrofoam containers behind it. I was walking along by an old dairy near my house, and I saw this huge pile of rusting baling wire. I just knew that there was something cool to make out of this. And there was a recycled sculpture competition, so I got together with local Sebastopol sculptor Mark Jackson, and we created this gorilla. And he's been rusting gracefully for about the last 20 years. The farmer could not believe we wanted to haul away all that rusty wire. Sometimes just a scrap can provide you with inspiration. This crinkled straw wrapper gave me an idea for something I was struggling with. We created the same effect using some shiny blue fabric, slid it over a steel rod, and it became the water streaming out of a giant sprinkler that we built for an Easter set at a shopping mall. There's one more. Ah, there he is. Just yesterday, we shipped this fellow off to Norfolk, Nebraska. To make the tentacles, we used the ducting that is found in attics and stuff for heating, so we could swirl them all around and then fiberglass them. So you never know where the next material is going to come from.